Good morning. Tina O here from Tina O Life. Man, like I'm a social media chick and I still can't get this live rotate thing. Gah! Okay, anyway, so listen, if you can help me out with this, my understanding is if you start a live with your phone rotated like this, then it's horizontal. But apparently that's not the case, because every time I start horizontal, it makes me go vertical. Just calling it out. Okay, social media people that are more technology like advanced than I am, tell me how to set this up. Good morning, Tina O here from Tina O Life, and this is January. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I have a dear friend here, Aubrey Arms, Awaken Your Greatness, Greatness Guru Coach Lady. We trade coaching back and forth. We meet every Monday at 10 a.m. and we coach each other. I, from a story perspective of message coaching and living into the core of your story, and her from a greatness perspective, always calling me up, and always, I was describing her yesterday to my dear friend and colleague, Dr. Carolyn Nesbitt, about how what Aubrey is brilliant at is sometimes when you're in a crap place, coaches either do the accountability thing, like, you're better than this, go do it, right? Grab your shoes and get to the track, go. Or coaches do the empathy thing, right? I hear you, I'm with you, all is good, or even if it's not good, don't worry, you're not alone. And what Aubrey does is she's the bridge between these two worlds. In my deepest, darkest places, when my story was unfolding in a place where I had to step back and go, okay, I asked for this, but I didn't ask for this. Never did she ever wallow with me. Not that wallowing is bad, sometimes a little bit of wallow just to give that piece of our story space to be heard, but never would she come down and wallow with me. But she would always catch my most despairing moments, be with me, and then say, okay, let's go. Where are we going to go with all of this energy that's moving through you? What do you want? So she's like a bridge between the two. Not sure why I felt compelled to tell you that. I think just to give you a glimpse into who I work with to move my life forward. So today on the call, I want to talk about the stuff when it doesn't work. Sometimes when stuff doesn't work, that's part of how we hear our call. Because whatever path we are on and whatever system we've been operating in, whatever thing that we've been doing in our autopilot way of doing things, it just stops. It's like somehow your head doesn't compute the way it used to. Sometimes it's like, I used to be able to think my way through these situations, or I used to be able to manage my way through these situations, or I used to be able to strategize my way through these situations, and it's like something just stops. I have a dear friend, Kieran, and where is she now? She's in California. Dear friend Kieran, who, gosh, must have been like 7 years ago. Kieran Trace DeJare, and I remember her saying to me, well, Overbury, look, your own system won't even let you do that stuff anymore. So in my life, what that looked like was I had a highly, highly, highly profitable business, like $250,000 a year profitable business. Very little time on my part to do that business. Wasn't even 40 hours a week. And I hit this leadership crisis where I didn't even know that I had business values. I didn't know. I knew I had like artistic values. I knew I had, I don't even know that I had spiritual values back then, but I knew I had like Tina O values, right? Like the no-go zones. Don't go here. I don't cross this. I don't do that. This happens, like, and like full stop. But I didn't know I had business values. And I'm not saying that the people I was working with were doing anything wrong. I'm just saying that my values didn't jive with theirs. And we hit this point where I spoke up about it. And in the speaking up about it, not from what I thought was a nasty place, maybe I was, I don't know, I can own that, maybe I was, maybe I was. But when I spoke up about it, it was, I must have bumped up against theirs, because what happened was the whole thing stopped. Not the money and all of that stuff, but like the business kept going and all of that. But I hit this place and they hit this place, and together we hit this place where it's like, wow, I actually can't find any sort of internal motivation to do anything anymore. I can't find any internal motivation, or even didn't matter what I did externally. I couldn't go for a run and fuel up. I couldn't, read all the mindset books and fuel up. I couldn't affirm my way into doing what needed to be done to continue to grow that particular business in that way with those leaders, because my leadership values did not line up with their leadership values, and I didn't know what to do. I was sitting in this blind spot of, I'd never been here before. I had always muscled my life through things. I'm a put your big girl panties on and go get the work done. I'm a grab those boots and go. Grab your shoes, get to the track. What's that saying? If it's meant to be, it's up to me. If it's meant to be, it's up to me. See, I can't remember that stuff anymore. Like, to me, that is like not true. That is like one little piece of following your call. One little piece. There is the divine dance between you and the call, right? But you're only one piece. So sometimes I want you to know that there'll be places as you follow your call, or as your call comes to you, it comes to you because stuff stops working. You can't make it happen anymore. You cannot muscle it anymore. It doesn't matter what you read, what people tell you, what support group you belong to, what women's group you belong to, what networking group you belong to. You can't fuel up enough to make that stuff happen. Now, in those moments, that's where the listening happens, because it's not enough to just go, oh, that stops. Now what? Right? You're like, now what? That is the place that you listen. You listen in to the value that stopped you. I didn't even know I had business values. That's how it started for me. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have business values. What are my business values? And of course, they're very much alongside my personal values. They're like exactly the same, except my business values are connected to team. How do I lead? Connected to leadership. My business values are connected to money. How do I earn it? And my understanding of exchange, what exchange means to me. My business values are connected to communication, how I communicate freely. Now, my personal values, as you know, if you've watched the call, are very much into that. I lean to what's peaceful. That's where home is for me. If you listen to my very first call on the call about finding your home place. So in this place where I had to stop, like it was stopping me, I leaned into that. And what arrived for me, going back to this concept of muscling, I had muscled my life forever, ever and ever. That's how I made stuff happen. And for the first time, I heard leadership from the place of, and this is the phrase that popped into my head, was listen so as to lead. The phrase I used to use before, which I love as well, but again, it only took me so far, is a leader needs time to think. True? But a leader who needs time to think is still a leader who leads from the front and leads before they listen. Thinking is not listening. Thinking is still muscling. It's still thinking you have the answers. So when I changed listen, when I started to move my life forward from listen so as to lead, it opened up the path of Core Story. Because what the heck was I listening for? Now when people ask me what I do, I say I'm a story coach, or those who won't think I'm too woo, I say I'm a professional listener. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning. Thank you for joining me this morning. And so today on Tina O Life, as we wrap up this conversation about the call, listening for your call, following your call, tuning into that. It's not just about seeing all the signs, although that's great, right? For like the signs, trust me, when the thing is coming for you, your call is coming saying it's time, you will see signs. The signs we often neglect to notice are the things that stop working because we get like tied into this, I gotta fix it, I gotta make it better. Sometimes there is no bettering. You actually can't muscle your way through it. So today, I invite you to notice the things in your life that you're muscling, that you are adding, that you're efforting your way through, and sit with, wow, does this feel like pushing a big rock up a mountain? That if I stop pushing this big rock, it would actually roll back on me? Do you have places in your life where you have to like effort your brain way through it? And inquire. Just listen in, inquire. What's that about? What is it about? Why is it effort? What's the story there? What might that be telling me? And be mindful. This is the invitation, the big one on all of this listening stuff. Like, how do you listen? This is not about attaching meaning. When we attach meaning, that's up here. We're listening. The call inside of us does not speak in more than 5 words. The call inside of us, or through us, however your belief system works, does not speak to you in paragraphs. Listen so as to lead. That's what I heard. In fact, I bet you I could distill that down into all I really heard was listen. And then my brain attached so as to lead. I'm Tina O from Tina O Life. This is listening in for your call. I'm a core story specialist. What I do is I walk alongside people and I listen in for the call that is theirs. I help them write their book, write their keynote, create their online program, whatever it is. That's the communication part of me. But the real work is I walk alongside people and help them live into the call that is them. My belief is that the longer I do this work, the more I believe we're all X-Men. You know that movie X-Men? X-Men, X-Women, X-all. We are all that. And our job is to pay attention to that little X factor. Like we're all Wolverines out there. Like, I don't know what your X factor is, but that's part of how the call lives through you. That's what I do. You can follow me here. You can check in with me here. You can talk to me here. I'll see you again. This is where I live. This is how my call manifests in my space so that I can live out my X factor. Okay, I'm Tina O from Tina O Life. I will find you here. You will find me. Mwah. Have a big, beautiful day and enjoy this new year. Ciao.